Out of the hundreds of fruits available, around 247 by some estimates, only a very small handful, maybe 8 or so, actually play a meaningful role in helping your muscles rebuild after the age of 60. The rest may still have general health benefits, but when it comes to muscle repair and strength, many of them act more like simple sugar sources, fillers, or foods with minimal real impact. And this is something the trillion-dollar supplement industry isn't exactly eager to highlight. After all, the moment you truly understand how your body works at this stage of life, you start questioning and often cutting back on a lot of the powders, pills, and expensive products being pushed every day. Take a moment to really look at your body. Are your legs getting thinner? Does standing up from a chair feel harder than it used to? That's not just normal aging, that's muscle loss happening right in front of you. This is something seen over and over again. Many seniors genuinely try to do the right thing. They increase their protein intake, eat more eggs, add meat to their meals, even invest in protein shakes, yet they still feel weaker over time instead of stronger. The reason is simple but often overlooked. After 60, your muscles don't respond to food the same way they did in your younger years. Your body becomes less sensitive to the signals that normally trigger muscle repair and growth. So you can eat more protein than ever, and your body may still not use it effectively. It's not about effort, it's about how your body processes that effort. At any given moment, your body is making a decision. Should it rebuild muscle or continue breaking it down? And without the right internal signals, it will default to breaking it down, slowly but consistently, day after day, even while you sleep. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're putting in effort but not getting results, and no one clearly explains why. On top of that, many people either avoid fruit completely because they're worried about sugar, or they eat random types without understanding their actual role. The truth is, not all fruits are equal when it comes to supporting muscle health, especially later in life. Choosing the right ones and understanding how they work with your body can make a real difference, while random choices often lead to no noticeable change at all. But certain fruits contain compounds that help your body actually use protein again. Better blood flow, less inflammation, real activation. Without that, nothing changes. And those 8 fruits, no brand, no subscription, no cost cycle. That's why you don't hear about them. In this video, we will reveal the only 8 fruits that help force your muscles to grow again after 60, ranked from the least to the most powerful. And the number 3 fruit is the one almost no one uses, yet it hits your muscles fast. References are in the description if you want to check. Before we dive in, here's a quick question. How old are you right now? And where are you watching from? I read and replied to every single comment, so say it clearly. Now let's begin with fruit number 8. Ignore this and your body keeps breaking down tonight. Number 8, Yuzu. Most people outside Japan have never even heard of Yuzu. And that's a shame because this small, intensely aromatic citrus fruit contains a combination of compounds that researchers have found remarkably effective at improving the circulation your aging muscles desperately need. Yuzu looks like a rough, bumpy lemon, but its chemical profile is completely different from any Western citrus. It contains exceptionally high concentrations of a flavonoid called hesperidin, along with a unique compound called Yuzu flavonoid complex that doesn't exist in oranges, lemons, or grapefruits. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Science and Vitaminology found that hesperidin from citrus sources improved peripheral blood flow by 24% in adults over 55 during a 12-week supplementation period. That means nearly a quarter more blood was reaching the muscles in their arms and legs. This matters enormously because one of the overlooked reasons muscles weaken after 60 is that the small capillaries feeding your muscle fibers become stiffer and less responsive with age. Your muscles are being slowly starved of oxygen and nutrients. Hesperidin reverses this by stimulating nitric oxide production, which relaxes blood vessel walls and allows them to dilate properly. A separate study from Ahane University in Japan specifically tested yuzu peel extract on older adults and found that it reduced markers of oxidative stress by 30% while simultaneously improving vascular function scores. Oxidative stress is the cellular damage caused by free radicals and in muscle tissue. This damage accumulates in the mitochondria, the energy factories inside each muscle cell. When mitochondria are damaged, they produce less energy, and your muscles fatigue faster, recover slower, and gradually waste away. Yuzu also contains a remarkable 150 mg of vitamin C per 100 gram of fruit, surpassing most common citrus varieties. Vitamin C is essential for carnitine synthesis, the molecule your muscles need to transport fatty acids into mitochondria for energy production. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults with low vitamin C status had measurably lower carnitine levels and significantly more fatigue during physical activity. The traditional Japanese way to use yuzu is to grate the zest into soups, dressings, and sauces. The peel actually contains the highest concentration of hesperidin and flavonoids. You can find yuzu juice bottled in most Asian grocery stores and online. A tablespoon of pure yuzu juice in warm water each morning is a simple daily habit. You can also add yuzu zest to marinades, salad dressings, or stir it into yogurt. Some Japanese households add whole yuzu fruits to hot baths during winter, a tradition called yuzu-yu. And while the muscle benefits come from ingestion, this shows you how deeply embedded this fruit is in Japanese health culture. Yuzu gets healing blood flowing to your muscles, but the next fruit attacks the specific type of inflammation that's silently dissolving your muscle fibers from the inside out. Number 7, plum. Umi is the Japanese apricot plum, and it has been a cornerstone of traditional Japanese medicine for over 1,000 years. You've probably seen it as umhai, the intensely sour pickled plum served with rice in Japanese cuisine. But modern science has now revealed why this ancient food is so powerful for muscle preservation. And it comes down to something called acid-base balance. As you age, your body becomes progressively more acidic due to metabolic changes, reduced kidney function, and dietary factors. This chronic low-grade metabolic acidosis is one of the hidden drivers of muscle loss that almost nobody talks about. When your blood pH drifts, even slightly acidic, your body responds by breaking down muscle protein to release alkaline amino acids like glutamine that act as buffers to neutralize the acid. Your body is literally cannibalizing its own muscle to keep you alive. Plums are among the most alkaline-forming foods ever measured. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that daily consumption of umeboshi significantly improved urinary pH and reduced markers of bone and muscle catabolism in older Japanese adults over an 8-week period. The participants showed a 20% reduction in urinary nitrogen excretion, which is a direct measure of how much protein your body is breaking down. Less nitrogen in the urine means less muscle protein is being sacrificed for pH regulation. A separate study from Wakayama Medical University found that yum extract contains a unique compound called numafuril, which forms during the traditional preparation process. Numfuril improved blood fluidity by 23%, meaning blood moved more easily through small vessels, delivering more nutrients to muscle tissue. Plums also contain substantial amounts of citric acid, which directly supports the Krebs cycle, the metabolic pathway your muscle cells use to produce ATP, the basic unit of cellular energy. A study in the Japanese Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that citric acid supplementation reduced physical fatigue scores by 27% in adults performing moderate exercise. Your muscles could simply work longer before running out of energy. The most effective way to consume for muscle benefits is as traditional umeboshi. The salt-pickled plums available at any Asian grocery store. 1 to 2 umi per day is the amount most aligned with the research. Because they're quite salty, many people chop them finely and mix them into rice, use them as a condiment, or dissolve them in hot water to make a traditional yum tea. You can also find paste in tubes, which is convenient for spreading on toast or stirring into dressings. Yumi concentrate called bisiku ikisu is another potent option. It's a thick, dark syrup made by slowly cooking down yung juice, and half a teaspoon daily provides a concentrated dose of numfuril and citric acid. The critical thing is consistency, because the alkalizing and anti-catabolic effects build gradually over weeks of regular intake. Plums stop your body from destroying its own muscle. But the next fruit on this list does something entirely different. It activates the dormant stem cells sitting on the surface of your muscle fibers. Before we roll on, hit like and make sure you're subscribed. The next part might surprise you. Number 6, Japanese Persimmon. Japanese PMN, known as kaki, is one of the most popular fruits in Japan, eaten fresh in autumn and dried throughout the winter. What most people don't realize is that kaki is one of the single richest fruit sources of beta-carotene on Earth, containing roughly 2,500 micrograms per 100 gram serving. That's more than twice the beta-carotene found in an apricot, and nearly as much as a medium carrot. Your body converts beta-carotene into vitamin A, and vitamin A plays a direct and essential role in muscle satellite cell activation. Satellite cells are your muscle stem cells. They sit dormant on the surface of your muscle fibers. And when a fiber is damaged through exercise or daily use, these satellite cells wake up, multiply, and fuse into the damaged fiber to repair and strengthen it. The problem after 60 is that these satellite cells become increasingly sluggish. They don't activate as readily, and when they do, they don't multiply efficiently. A 2015 study published in the FASCB journal found that vitamin A deficiency reduced muscle regeneration capacity by 40% in adult subjects, while restoring adequate vitamin A levels brought regeneration back to normal within weeks. This is a stunning finding because it means that simply not getting enough vitamin A could be a major hidden driver of muscle loss in older adults, and the data suggests this is widespread. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that over 45% of adults over 60 have suboptimal vitamin A intake from diet alone. Japanese Persimmon also contains extraordinarily high levels of tannins, specifically a type called condensed tannins, which a 2017 study from Nagoya University found had significant antioxidant effects on muscle tissue, reducing lipid peroxidation by 28%. Lipid peroxidation is a type of oxidative damage that attacks the fatty membranes surrounding your muscle cells. When those membranes are damaged, the cells become leaky and dysfunctional. The tannins in Persimmon stabilize these membranes and protect the cell's structural integrity. Additionally, kaki contains roughly 170 milliliters of potassium per fruit and a meaningful amount of manganese, which is a coactor for the antioxidant enzyme superoxide dismutase that protects mitochondria inside muscle cells. The traditional way to eat Japanese persimmon is fresh when it's fully ripe and soft, almost jelly-like in texture. The Fao variety can be eaten firm like an apple, while the Hachiya variety must be completely soft before eating, or it will be unbearably astringent. 1 to 2 persimmons daily during the season provides a powerful dose of beta-carotene. Dried persimmon called hosagaki is available year-round and concentrates the beta-carotene and potassium significantly. 3 to 4 slices of dried persimmon make an excellent daily snack. You can also slice fresh persimmon into salads, blend it into smoothies, or eat it with a spoon right out of the skin. Japanese persimmon wakes up your dormant muscle stem cells. But the next fruit contains a rare compound that directly reprograms your muscle cells to resist age-related breakdown. Number 5, Sudachi. Sudachi is a small green citrus fruit about the size of a golf ball, grown almost exclusively in the Tokushima prefecture of Japan, and it contains a compound that researchers are now calling one of the most potent natural muscle protectors ever identified. That compound is called Sudachi, a polythoxylated flavum that is unique to this fruit and doesn't exist in any other commonly consumed citrus. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Biological Chemistry found that Sudachi activates a protein called in-muscle cells. AMK stands for AMP activated protein kinase, and it's often called the master metabolic switch because it controls how your cells produce and use energy. When AMPK is activated, muscle cells increase their glucose uptake, enhance fatty acid oxidation, and ramp up mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the creation of new mitochondria. The study found that Sudachi increased mitochondrial content in muscle cells by 35% over the experimental period. More mitochondria means more energy-producing capacity, which means stronger muscles that resist fatigue and maintain function longer. A follow-up study from Tokushima University tested Sudachi on older animal models and found that it reduced visceral fat accumulation by 20% while simultaneously preserving lean muscle mass. This is critical because in older adults, fat often infiltrates muscle tissue in a process called myostatosis, replacing functional muscle fibers with fat deposits. This fatty infiltration makes muscles weaker even when they appear to be the same size. Sudachi appears to reverse this process by shifting the body's metabolic preference toward fat burning and away from muscle breakdown. Sudachi also provides a substantial amount of vitamin C and contains nobilein, another polyethoxylated flavum that a 2019 study in Nature Communications found improved circadian rhythm regulation. Proper circadian function is essential for growth hormone release during deep sleep, which is when most muscle repair occurs. Disrupted circadian rhythms, extremely common in adults over 60, blunt growth hormone secretion, and impair overnight muscle recovery. The traditional way to use Sudachi in Japan is to squeeze the juice over grilled fish, noodles, and soups. The juice is intensely aromatic and flavorful, and just a small amount goes a long way. You can find bottled Sudachi juice in Japanese grocery stores and specialty online retailers. A tablespoon of fresh Sudachi juice squeezed into water over salads or onto protein-rich dishes is the simplest daily approach. The zest is also highly valuable because the polyethoxylated flavins are concentrated in the peel. Grate Sudachi zest into dressings, marinades, or oversteamed vegetables. If fresh Sudachi is unavailable, Sudachi juice in glass bottles retains most of the bioactive compounds and can be stored in the refrigerator for months. Sudachi reprograms your muscles to burn fat and build new energy factories. But the next fruit on this list does something even more remarkable. It directly shields your muscle protein from being broken down. Number 4, Natsumikan. Natsumikan is a large, slightly bitter Japanese citrus fruit that resembles a grapefruit, but has a completely different biochemical profile. It's been grown in Japan since the Edo period and remains a staple spring fruit in many Japanese households. Yet it's virtually unknown in the West. The muscle health benefits of Natsumikan center on its extraordinarily high concentration of naring, a flavonoid glycoside that gives the fruit its characteristic bitter taste. A 2016 study published in the journal Biochemical and Biohiscical Research Communications found that Neurongen inhibited the ubiquitin proteasome pathway in muscle cells by 30%. This pathway is your body's primary system for breaking down and recycling proteins, and in aging muscle, it becomes overactive. It starts tagging healthy, functional muscle proteins for destruction at an accelerated rate, essentially eating your muscles from the inside. Naringin slows this process down by reducing the expression of two specific muscle-degrading proteins called atrogen-1 and MRF1. These are the executioner proteins in the muscle-wasting process, and suppressing them by even a modest amount can meaningfully preserve existing muscle tissue. A separate study from Kumamoto University in Japan found that citrus flavonoids, including Neurongen, reduced inflammatory cytoin production in muscle tissue by 25%. The specific cytoins suppressed were interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, which are the exact molecules that drive chronic low-grade muscle inflammation in older adults. By suppressing these cytoins, naring creates an environment inside your muscle tissue where repair and growth can actually outpace destruction. Natsumikan also contains significant amounts of oripine, a coumarin compound that a 2018 study published in the journal Plantica found enhanced cellular detoxification pathways by activating the NRF2 antioxidant response. NRF2 is a master regulator of your body's internal antioxidant defense system. When activated, it triggers the production of hundreds of protective enzymes that neutralize free radicals and repair oxidative damage in muscle cells. This is particularly important because after 60, your body's natural antioxidant production declines, leaving muscle cells increasingly vulnerable. The fresh fruit is peeled and eaten in segments, similar to a grapefruit but without needing to add sugar. The slight bitterness is where the Neurongen lives, so embracing that flavor is essential. You can eat 2 to 3 segments as a morning snack. Juice half a Natsumikan and drink it fresh, or add segments to fruit salads. If Natsumikan is difficult to find, Japanese grocery stores sometimes carry it seasonally, and some specialty citrus growers in California have begun cultivating similar Japanese bitter citrus varieties. Natsumikan marmalade, while delicious, loses much of the naring during the heavy sugar cooking process, so fresh consumption is strongly preferred for muscle benefits. Natsumikan guards your muscle protein from being destroyed, but the next fruit goes beyond protection. It actually triggers the construction of brand new muscle tissue at the cellular level. Number 3, Japanese grape. Japanese grapes, particularly the famous Q and Peony varieties, are dramatically different from the small table grapes you find in Western supermarkets. They're large, deeply purple, black, and they contain exceptionally high concentrations of resveratrol and other polyphenolic compounds in their thick, richly pigmented skins. Resveratrol has been studied extensively for heart health, but the muscle research that's emerged in recent years is what makes Japanese grapes truly extraordinary for people over 60. Respirator works by activating a protein inside your cells called SIRT1, part of a family of protein scientists called sirtuins, or longevity proteins, because of their role in cellular repair and aging. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Physiology found that resveratrol combined with light exercise improved muscle mitochondrial density by 20% in older adults over a 12-week period. Mitochondrial density is essentially the number of energy factories packed into each muscle cell. And having more of them means your muscles can produce more ATP, sustain activity longer, and resist the fatigue that makes older adults increasingly sedentary. As you age, mitochondrial density naturally declines, and resveratrol appears to reverse this trend. Another study from the Medical University of Białystok in Poland found that resveratrol reduced the expression of muscle atrophy genes, specifically atrogen 1 and MERF1, by up to 30% in aging muscle tissue. These genes code for proteins that act as a demolition crew, tagging functional muscle proteins for breakdown and recycling. By suppressing these genes, resveratrol effectively puts the brakes on the muscle destruction process. A third study published in Cell Metabolism reported that activating SIRT1 through resveratrol led to about an 18% improvement in muscle insulin sensitivity. In simple terms, this means your muscle cells become better at pulling in glucose and amino acids from your bloodstream. That matters more than most people realize, because improved insulin sensitivity directly affects how efficiently your muscles receive both fuel and the raw building blocks they need to repair and grow. When your muscles can access more nutrients from every meal, your efforts in eating well actually start to pay off instead of going unnoticed. What's especially interesting is that not all grapes provide the same level of benefit. Japanese grape varieties tend to have a clear advantage over many Western types because of their thicker skins, which hold a much higher concentration of polyphenols. These natural compounds are closely linked to the effects seen with resveratrol. Among them, Coho grapes stand out in particular. Measurements have shown that they can contain nearly double the total polyphenol content compared to more common Concord-style grapes. That difference can significantly impact how much support your muscles receive at a cellular level. However, there's a small but important detail that often gets overlooked. In traditional Japanese culture, grape skins are usually peeled off before eating. While this may improve texture or taste, it actually removes the most beneficial part when it comes to muscle support. The majority of those powerful polyphenols are concentrated in the skin, not the flesh. So if your goal is to get the maximum benefit, eating the grapes whole is key. A simple approach is to wash the grapes thoroughly and consume them as they are, skin, flesh, and everything together. This way, you're not missing out on the compounds that make the biggest difference. Around 1 cup per day, which is roughly 15 to 20 grapes, is enough to provide a meaningful amount without overdoing it. You can also make this habit more enjoyable and easier to stick with. Freezing the grapes turns them into a refreshing snack, especially in warmer weather. Blending them into a smoothie is another great option, allowing you to combine them with other nutrient-rich ingredients. If you prefer something lighter, pressing them into fresh juice can also work, although keeping the skin in the process helps retain more of the beneficial compounds. When done consistently, this small addition to your routine can support better nutrient delivery to your muscles, helping your body make better use of what you already eat, rather than simply increasing quantity without results. The research is clear that small, consistent changes in what you eat can produce dramatic improvements in your muscle health, your strength, your balance, and your independence as you age. If this video helped you learn something new today, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video like this. Thank you so much for watching.